start today's call with looking back at our journey so far. There'll be a current topic introduction. Then we'll have a group deep dive on the call with Dr. Suresh Govind as well. And then we will have some introspection sections, and we have few questions that we'll ponder on the answers for that in our breakout rooms. With this, let's start with our journey. As you know, like we have done these kind of introductions earlier as well. This journey started with us being the modern Arjuna, questioning ourselves, they're doing some self-analysis and understanding and looking at ourselves and seeing how many times we become the complaint box instead of counting our blessings. And being aware of a problem is a first step towards curbing it, right? So that was our very first step that we took, just to like to register ourselves at how many times we complain. And once you are aware of it, the number comes down slowly. Then we learn the art of surrender. Again, that this is not a new concept that was introduced, but it has been a feature that we keep practicing day in and day out. And the more we practice, the more stronger we become at it. And then we learned about flipping the switch or changing our perspective, looking at a problem from a different angle, from a higher consciousness, and trying to bring up a solution for it. And while doing so, there are many challenges that come, and how we learn to knock out those challenges and understand that all of us are capable of a lot more than what we think we are doing right now. So it's all hidden among us, inside us. We just need to understand that and unleash, right? And then we studied about the different characteristics of the Atma, of that one confidant, that one friend in us, which is indestructible, eternal, and it's immovable. And we learned about individual characteristics in different episodes. And then came the discussion about our thought of conflict, moving from conflict to clarity, and then clarity in action, implementing that in our day-to-day life. And all these teachings, all these sayings, or the episode theme that we have decided is coming from that same old Bhagavad Gita book that Lord Krishna imparted, and that holds true. And we have seen with so far that each word of it even holds true today and for generations to come. There are few verses here which has been simplified for our understanding, so we can understand a little better. And here are few verses from the second chapter. It's on the screen. I'm just going to read a couple of them and then we'll move forward. The first one here on your screen is from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, which is 20th verse. The soul is neither born, nor does it ever die, nor having once existed, does it ever cease to be. The soul is without birth, eternal, immortal, and ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. I'll read one more. The verse 22. A person sheds worn-out garments and wears new ones. Likewise, at the time of death, the soul casts off its worn-out body and enters a new one. A few more verses here. Verse 24. The soul is unbreakable and incombustible. It can neither be damned nor dried. It is everlasting, in all places, unalterable, immutable, and primordial. I'm going to read out one more verse, the last one, that is verse 27. Death is certain for one who has been born, and rebirth is inevitable for one who has died. Therefore, you should not lament over the inevitable. O sign of Bharata, all created beings are unmanifest before birth, manifest in life, and again unmanifest on death. So why grief? So time and again we are studying these. We are listening to this where Lord Krishna is talking about the soul and the different characteristics of the soul, and how we are worrying for something which is very superficial and trivial. And the more we go to the depth of it, the more clarity we get. This is again the soul wisdom that we'll be studying about. We'll be understanding a little more today. And as we read the verses, this has been very much there. I mean, learned from ages to ages and passed on from generations to us. Today, in this day and age, we still study these things and understand the importance of it in our day-to-day life. I would like to invite Dr. Suresh Govind to help us understand this a little better and help us understand why is this like still so important for us to know this and implement, and how can we implement that in our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sairam Saidata. By the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagwan Baba, we all are here for this beautiful satsang. Thank you so much for being here and trying to understand something. But if you look at Krishna's approach, here he is right in the middle of the war. He's supposed to fight. And both sides, you look at the left, you look at the right, whoa, overwhelming, panic attack, he collapses. So this is the Arjuna's dilemma. Now, when you want to rehabilitate someone, when you want to bring someone to his senses, first approach that Krishna does is you bring him to a higher wisdom. You cannot tackle the problem by just focusing on the problem. That is what most of us do. How to solve this problem? How to solve this problem? And then we myopically look at the problem. You will be drowned by the quicksands and the gravitational pull of the problem. You will never get up. So Krishna, in his wise wisdom, is now teaching us how to solve a problem by looking at a bigger picture, by looking at certain principles that are involved. And that is why in the beginning stages, he prescribes this soul wisdom. There are a lot of verses there, which has been just now was mentioned by Saidata. If you understand the logic of introducing the soul wisdom in this particular context, is to educate and rehabilitate his mind from lifting from this gravitational pull to some stratospheric heights of knowledge, so that he will be able to realign himself. So therefore, this process is necessary in order for him to regain back his composure and understand the whole problem in a higher context. So my dear friends, problem is only because your context is low. If you increase the context of the problem, you'll find you'll be able to input many inputs inside. Suddenly you'll find, hey, you see a fresher perspective, a newer paradigm starts to be born, a newer version of yourself can be born only if you have and regain back your perspective of the problem. That is what Krishna has done by introducing the soul. And he gave the characteristics of the soul. He gave the fact that this is the platform by which you should stand. And that is what it is all about. So you can apply this knowledge in any problem that you have. Every problem that you have, see it in a bigger context, see it in larger sphere. Do not myopically gravitate to a problem. Solution is on the other side. It's just around the corner, but we need to change the lens. We need to change perspectives.
So true, Uncle. Yes. Every time we keep hearing this, we have to change our perspective. We have to rise above the problem and see. Thank you so much for sharing that. And in order to understand this a little better and see how we can use this in our day-to-day life, we have an amazing skit planned for you all. With this, I will call upon Sister Anusha. Please take it forward from here, Sister.
Sairam, everyone. We want to put a disclaimer first. The following skit is intended for all of you to understand better on what Uncle just talked about. We have placed the setting as a virtual lecture room for a course. And I am going to be the course moderator. And Advaita, Sister Advaita, is going to be the doctor who is giving the lecture. And we also will have a patient, Shivani, Sister Shivani, who is suffering from a certain syndrome. We want to state that even though the situation is real, all the characters, all of us are fictional, but we just hope you enjoy it. So here we go. So good evening, class. I welcome you all to Know Thyself 101. If you are joining us for the first time, we welcome you. We have spent the past 13 months investigating the characteristics of Atma. Many of you might have taken our previous courses, including Becoming the Student, Flipping the Switch, treating our universe as our university, and many more. But today, we are taking it to the practical application level by putting a slightly different spin on the same topic of Atma. And I have invited, for all of you, our guest lecturer, Dr. Advaita. She is from the University Holistic Wellness Center. Dr. Advaita specializes in treating many patients at her clinic who come to her with chronic cases of self-doubt, lack of faith, lack of self-confidence, extreme attachment, and so on. And she uses tools such as detachment, silence, awareness, self-inquiry to treat her patients with successful results. Today, she is actually presenting us with a unique case, but a very relatable case. We request all your participation. There might be times where Dr. Advaita will pose questions for us attendees, where we should share our perspectives and answers through the chat. So over to you, Dr. Advaita.
Thank you, Anusha. Good evening, class. I ask all of you to open your hearts and your minds and enjoy the ride as we peel the layers to experience our truth, the Atma. Like Anusha mentioned, I meet hundreds of patients, and today I have invited one of my patients to come and share her distress, just to give you a sneak peek of what happens at my clinic. Shivani is one of my patients. Hello, Shivani.
Doctor.
Thank you for agreeing to share your situation with a large audience. Can you briefly tell us what is going on with you?
Well, last week I had an argument with my cousin, and I think it's impossible for me to forgive her. I have attended AWA classes and they talk about flipping the switch. I try to flip the switch, but I'm not able to do so. I constantly move back and forth between trying to forgive my cousin, but all in vain.
I see. So what kind of other symptoms are you experiencing, Shivani?
I'm experiencing bouts of sadness, as well as I wake up at night with dry hurt cup. I'm feeling so much irritated, absolutely a lot, and so much uneasiness I'm feeling. And I must also admit that my productivity during the day has decreased a lot.
I see. Interesting. Thank you for sharing all that, Shivani. Now, class, because all of you here, or most of you here, have taken the mandatory prerequisite AWE course and have learned about the Flip the Switch toolkit, can anyone tell me what are the problems or symptoms at the physical, mental, and intellectual level that Shivani is currently experiencing? And feel free to put your answers in the chat box. Anusha, I would ask you to read out the answers when participants enter the answers in.
For sure. Okay, class, here's your chance to show off what you know. At physical level, what is Shivani experiencing? At mental level, what are some things that she is experiencing? And at intellectual level, what are the things that she is feeling? Go ahead, put your responses in the box so that we can continue to investigate this case. Any thoughts? So, Dr. Advaita, do you often see cases like these? Is this a common relatable case for you?
Very much, yes. I already think where we are headed, this is a very common case. And let me hear what our students have to say before I give further diagnosis. I think we have
Oh,
some
yeah, we
people
have our
answering.
first. Okay, thank you. At physical level, irritation, emotional, unable to forgive, and at intellectual level, feeling stuck. Thank you. Rajat, you scored an A. Anybody else?
Very nice.
We have physical, helpless, emotional, sad, intellectual, helpless. Definitely.
Mhm. Should we move on, Anusha, or should we wait for a couple of more responses?
I think we are good. Do you want to summarize? Low energy, yeah, definitely. Physical level, low energy. Emotional, sad, lack of motivation. And intellectual, helpless. I think we see a pattern here. Thank you all.
Yes.
You guys are doing amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we have the next slide where I think I have written down the answers, and I think pretty much you've nailed it. Yes. Thank you, class. You've done very well. So now let's get to Shivani's diagnosis right away. As you can see, this is clearly a case of overthinkingitis by too much identification with our body and mind, which over 7 days has developed into a chronic case of straying too far away from Atma syndrome. We must not delay. Now let's begin Shivani's treatment, shall we? So, class, I start off the treatment process with detoxification. You know, the repetitive, unnecessary thoughts which we play over and over in our heads are actually the toxins. So we make the patient aware that the body, the mind, and the thoughts are all temporary. And then we try to remove them altogether from the system. All right, Shivani, are we ready?
Yes.
Let me get straight to the point, Shivani. There is a reason people meet, and there is a reason we go through some experiences. We are here on the physical plane called Earth to learn something, experience something. And unless we learn what we came here to learn, we will be stuck here.
Here? Where?
On Earth, where else? And if I'm to put it simply, if you have an argument with someone, in this case your cousin, you simply have to take the learning and move on. If you die without resolving this issue with your cousin,
Die?
well, yes, death could come anytime. I could just die of a heart attack right now. There could be an earthquake, tornado, tsunami. You know, just look around.
Okay. I get it. We all are going to die at some point.
Yes. So you know that your body is temporary and that is not going to last forever, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now tell me who you are, such that whatever you say about yourself is permanent.
I'm Shivani.
That's just your name, something to identify your body with. Once the body goes, the name goes away too.
Well, I'm a mother.
That is a relationship. In the absence of the person, where is the relationship?
A teacher. I'm a devotee. Yeah.
Well, they're all roles you play. Do you call yourself a teacher when you kiss your child goodnight?
Oh no, I think I'm a mother that time.
Exactly. So I repeat, tell me who you are such that that aspect of yours can never be destroyed. It's eternal, permanent.
Then, who am I? That is permanent. Is that a trick question?
No, it's not, and I'm glad you're confused. It means you're heading the right way. And that is your first medication for today. I'm prescribing you to ask the same question, who am I, several times each day, especially when you get caught up in emotions.
But what is the connection between my hurt feelings and these temporary aspects of mine?
Tell me, Shivani, if your friend apologizes right now, won't these thoughts that are haunting you vanish into the thin air?
Of course.
So, do you not see the temporariness of these thoughts?
Wow. I never thought that way.
Well, just like all your status and relationships are temporary, so are these thoughts. We try to be aware that all of this is temporary and the fact that you, the real you, is not what is fleeting.
Oh,
The problem arises when we repeat these thoughts over and over. The more we feed them with our attention, the more they get established in us. Think of steam condensing into water and water into ice. Detach yourself and resolve these feelings. As simple as that.
It's very easy for you to say that, doctor. Detach and all. But it's so hard.
Well, well, well. Looks like you may need more help than I thought. So, everyone, it's time to bring in the expert on the matter. In such stubborn cases of overthinkingitis, I call my senior doctor, Dr. Suresh Govind. Maybe he will be able to inject some wisdom. Let me call him.
So, Dr. Advaitam, we are having Chinese New Year now. It's a holiday here, but never mind, since it's an emergency, I'm prepared to step in. The super specialist really is Bhagavan Baba. He is the one who has prescribed all the medicine. So what I'm just telling you is a consolidation of what he has prescribed in the texts of his divine discourses. You see, the most important thing in everything is acceptance. If we can come to this stage of accepting, this is the first step towards everything else. Now, the amazing analogy or the amazing example that we can use is, you see, we don't know that the person in front of us who is irritating me or the person who is now causing me distress, we must understand that that individual is one who we brought back again into our life this year, in this life. Everything that you see outside is a result of what is happening inside. The inner world causes the outer world. The inner world programming is what that creates the outer world. Every pain, every distraught, every circumstance, every situation is our own bringing in. How do we know this? You see, if you have a handphone, and if the handphone, you contact, you call everybody, you got your contacts, you got your WhatsApp, you got all your messages and everything else is going, and suddenly the phone becomes spoiled. And when the handphone spoils, you go to the shop, you buy a new handphone, and then what do? You don't have new contacts. You take all the contacts that you have in the previous phone, your WhatsApp messages and everything else that you have there, and transfer that particular information to the new phone. So the new phone is the body. You see, the new body. That is this is called transmigration of the soul, or this is called reincarnation theory. This is what it is. So in the transmigration of the soul carries all the information of the mind, of the information that you have in the previous life. So when you bring it to the new phone, your body has changed, but your contacts are the same. Your WhatsApp messages are the same. Your relationships are the same. Your interactions are the same. And you continue your life with a new phone. Just because you have a new body does not mean you have new friends and new contacts. It is all carried forward from the previous. So this is the first knowledge. That's what soul wisdom teaches us, is that when we move into a new life, we carry forward from what we have done. So whatever that we are experiencing the outer world is what we have inherited. This is the first step. Once we start accepting, that's why Swami said, first understanding, then only adjustment. So first understanding, then adjust. Once you understand this particular thing, then you know, oh my God, what should I do? How can I possibly forgive this situation? How do I raise myself to another level? Unless your mind comes to a higher level, then you see the problem in the proper perspective. Your problems will get diffused if there is greater clarity in the entire scheme of life. This is the process, and this is why soul wisdom is necessary.
Great explanation.
Does this information help you, Shivani? Shivani, calling Shivani, over.
Yes, yes, that is there.
That is there?
Yeah, I understood that. You are saying when we buy a new phone, then our old contacts, they all come in our new phone.
Yes. So, which means to say that now in this life that you have seen some problems that you have, some circumstances that you embrace. First, understand this circumstances and problems is your own creation. So once you understand that, you stop blaming other person. The blame pattern, why you blame is because you think nothing is your fault. Everything is the other man's fault, other person. Once you start blaming, you conserve energy. Once you conserve energy, you use that energy to move your paradigm to another level. Now what we are doing is blame, his fault, this person's fault, he's irritating me. So we keep on blaming everybody else without understanding why and what is the process. So this subject matter is about empowering us with a wisdom that we will be able to see things in a proper perspective. Make sense?
Oh.
That is very, very insightful, Dr. Govind. But I have a question.
Please.
Shivani's main problem is that she keeps playing her whatever her cousin said over and over in her head, right?
Yeah.
And say, like, let's say somebody says something mean or hurtful. It is our tendency of our mind to keep repeating itself over and over again, not letting us come out of it.
Yeah.
How do we break this pattern? How do we, break free of this getting trapped in our mind?
So Swami comes to the rescue and says that a child holding a knife in his hands, in the child's hands, the mother said, drop the knife, drop the knife. The knife will be held even tighter, blood may ooze out from the cut. So a mother will never do that. So what does the mother do? Mother dangles the Kit Kat chocolate or any other chocolate in front of her. So the child now drops the knife and reaches out to the chocolate, is it? So the whole idea is, what is the chocolate in your life? If you do not have a higher chocolate in your life to reach out for, you will continuously think about the hurt people have caused us. And that is our own making. That's why Swami said, life is a game, play it. If they have done this, okay, fine. That's why every time you go take a problem to Bhagavan, what does he say? Past is past, past is past. What does it mean? Move your mind to the higher level. That means now focus on his mission, focus on expansion of consciousness. In the higher consciousness, hey, this is a mosquito bite, we don't make a problem. When we are children, when we are fighting with children, when we are children, he took my aeroplane, I fought with him and he fought with me. My parents came and they struggled to pull both of us apart because of the aeroplane incident. And then, never mind, let it go, son, don't disturb, it's okay, I will buy you a new one. And then he pacified. I cried and cried. When I become 22 years old, I don't go to the police station and report that fellow took my aeroplane when I was 7 years old. I don't do that because I've outgrown the problem. My consciousness has grown. And then I look at the same problem. It doesn't matter. Why? What happened? Because my consciousness grew. So the whole aspect of problem solving is increase your consciousness. So how do you do that? Tapas. Where is the tapas? Sadhana, which is the bhajan, which is this, which is that. Slowly, you'll find it is no more an issue. So whenever it is an issue, it is an indicator that you are operating at the same level of consciousness. So my friends, there is a benchmark. How do you know you're spiritually growing? When I came to accept my consciousness, the same problem I said, doesn't matter. It's okay. I forgive and forget. Wow, not bad. You've grown. Yeah, it doesn't matter to. But no, he has done this to me. I don't know. I can never forget. I can never forget. That means you are at the same level of the kindergarten of the consciousness. You have not grown. You're participating in bhajans, no doubt. You wear white and white, you wear vibhuti, you do all these things, but you still carry the baggage, which means you are not grown. That is, my dear friend, is what spirituality is all about, is growth.
I absolutely agree. So as you were talking, the visual that kind of comes to my mind is that of a sky with clouds. So can we relate these repetitive thoughts in our head, like these passing clouds? So we need to know the difference between what is it that is passing and what is that permanence behind it. So can I pose a question to all of you, class? What is it that we can do to detach ourselves and separate ourselves and keep these clouds away from that permanent sky? Please feel free to share it in the chat. So we'll be more than happy to read it out.
Anusha, it's a brilliant analogy that you brought out. It's beautiful. It means that what you're trying to tell the participants, which is, hey, you want to forever look at the clouds, or you want to look at the sky. Clouds exist in the sky. If you want to spend the entire life looking at the cloud, you will be just drowned in the cloud. But why don't you look at the sky, which is a higher perspective? So how do you do that? This is what you are. Very nice. Very inspiring, Anusha.
We have some wonderful answers coming in, Dr. Govind. We have keep chanting as much as possible. Connect with your inner Swami.
Yeah.
Wrong identity, cause of negative emotions. Everything is passing clouds. Let go and remind yourself that past is past. Focus on the Kit Kat, can be bhajan or anything that you love doing. Any method that helps us keep our focus on the sky. This too will pass. Namaha. Oh my God, you guys, everybody gets an A. Keep the thought in mind that the problem is only temporary and Swami is permanent. Always focus on the sky with CIA. And even this will pass. Things change with time. Let clouds come and go without dwelling on the clouds.
Ooh.
Focus on the job on hand. Every person will have some or other positive impact on our life. Reminding
Ooh.
that will help in getting out any negative thought. Thank you, everyone. You guys have been amazing,
Excellent.
amazing participants.
Ooh.
Wow,
Ooh.
you really have an active group of students, Anusha.
Thank you. I'm
I
so
have to
proud of
commend
you.
you.
Amazing, 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 amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay, thank you, class. So this leads to our next part of the treatment plan, and that is called the Atmic Inquiry Diet. That's very intriguing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
far we've been pinpointed what in us is temporary and finite. Now let us find out what remains when we remove all that is temporary from us. All right, for this, I'll require a volunteer. It's just a series of question and answers, nothing too complicated, I promise. So, can we have a volunteer, please? And for this, I think we will have a verbal communication, not just something we chat. So, would really appreciate if someone could turn on their videos and be a sport. Anusha, if you see somebody, please let me know.
Yeah, Sairam.
Awesome.
All right, Saira, who do we have here?
Sister
Yeah,
Harsha. Sairam.
Harshal?
actually, this is my husband's phone, so I'm Preeti.
Okay, Preeti. All right. Thank you so much, Preeti. So I'll ask you a series of questions, and while Preeti will be going through an experiential learning process and answering my questions, I request all of you to do the same and see what you experience. Okay, so let's get ready. Find a comfortable spot to begin this exercise. Here we go. Okay, Preeti, look at the room around you and try to imagine this. Mentally remove all the furniture, the table, the chairs, couch, bed, clothes, books, basically every object from the room. We only have the walls now. So take away everything that is hanging there on the walls. Now remove even the walls. Tell me, what remains now?
I see a picture of Swami.
Remove the picture of Swami too. What remains?
No, even if I'm trying to remove that again, it's just coming. I really don't know.
Yeah, that's the mind. Okay, just go slow and easy and let the mind stop tricking you. When you remove even Swami's picture, the walls, everything, what remains?
Just a blank space.
Exactly. That's very right. So now let's do a similar exercise with our thoughts. Okay, and just remember that we are not trying to use the mind in any way to come up with an answer. Rather, we're just letting the mind rest and we're only trying to experience. So take a deep breath and with your eyes closed, just remove from yourself all that is temporary, your thoughts, your relationship, status, your likes and dislikes, everything, even your body. Now tell me what remains.
Actually, nothing remains. It's just blank. It's just blank again.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Now take some time to answer this question. Now tell me, there is blankness. Who is experiencing the blankness?
My own self.
Exactly. So, is it the body or the mind who's aware of the silence?
I think all of these is aware because I can feel it. I can, but the mind is, as you told me, I did not involve my mind. I just tried to silence it. So I think the mind is not involved.
Good.
Yeah, body also is not involved.
Mm-hmm. So somebody is experiencing that blankness, isn't it?
Yes.
You just close your eyes and tell me, who is that? And I know you said I, but who is that I?
I think it is my awareness or my attention.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
You are an excellent student. And yes, you're very right. It is this awareness who is aware of the blankness. This awareness is the Atma that is ever present, eternal, permanent, unchangeable, immovable, indestructible, unmanifest. And that is your highest reality. In fact, our highest reality, our truth. Like Sai Datta, I think she had flashed it in the beginning, right? All the one-liners about the Atma, and you could pinpoint it exactly where we were. So thank you so much for your participation, Preeti. I
Thank you so
really
much.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sairam.
Saira. Now, let's invite our patient Shivani to share what she felt during this exercise. Shivani, did you have a similar experience? Were you able to separate your true self from yourself?
I could separate my body and mind, and I could experience nothing. But can I access this nothingness even while I am agitated?
Well, the one who is aware that you are agitated is the Atma in you. So the more you establish yourself in Atma, the less these so called problems begin to bother you. Think of your Atma as the clear lake and these temporary thoughts as the moss that grows on the lake. Dr. Suresh Govind, would you like to add anything to it and how we can access this place of awareness? Because for most of us, we are constantly living in the mind and the body. Do you have any tips or tricks for us?
Yeah. So one way you can do this is that you go into the library, you have a torchlight, and you have a torchlight, you go inside, you shine on the book, biology book. Oh, it's biology book. Then you shine on chemistry book. Oh, it's chemistry book. Oh, it's cooking book. It's got biography. You shine on every other book. There is the book reveals, and suddenly the light goes off. The blank out. The whole library is blank. So with only the torchlight, you're able to see the different types of book. You begin to become aware of the books. You begin to become aware of the different subjects. You begin to be aware of the world around you because you're shining a torchlight. Now someone asks you this question: hey, what is the nature of your battery? Do you know what's the name of your battery? So, battery, there's so many types, Eveready battery, national battery, so many different types of batteries. So she says, I don't know what is the battery, so let me check it out. So I open the battery, and what happens is the battery comes out, and suddenly there's no more light because the torchlight comes from the battery. So I cannot see the nature of my battery because the light goes off. So I push back the battery inside and close the thing. I can see the light, but I cannot see the nature of the battery. I need to know what is the name because the whole library is dark. So what do? That is why we need a guru. With the guru's illumination and with the guru's teachings and with all the focus on the guru's awareness illuminates us, and we, using the reflection of the teacher, will be able to understand our own nature. So once we understand our own nature, we'll be able to have stronger and stronger confidence in the Atma. So you're right when you say that the world is full of agitation, full of this. The real reason for that is because we must have faith in our teacher. We must have faith in our guru and have implicit obedience to his teaching, and rely on where the pilot is taking us, and have 100% confidence. You know what will happen? Your agitation will no more disturb you. It will slowly start to, the surface of the lake will start to slowly calm, and you slowly go down to the surface, right at the bottom, at the sea surface. At the sea surface is Atma. From the Atmic state, you look up, you can see the waves. but you're not affected by the waves. So this is what this whole process of spirituality is all about. The real reason why the prescribed 9 code of conduct with the 4 integral yoga is prescribed is for the purposes of calming the mind, so that we slowly begin to have a higher and higher confidence in our own Atma, so that we begin to see things in a proper perspective, see things in a larger context, and able to address the issues of your world, so that your mind will be calm and peaceful, and it will be enough to contemplate to the higher reality. That's what this whole spirituality is all about.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Despite, Advita, despite Chinese New Year,
All right. So I think it's time to go to our small group discussions. So, Anusha, would you like to?
For sure. I think we have all heard and we have seen and experienced quite a bit for the last 40 minutes. So now it is time for all of us to go into a deep dive. These are the 2 questions that, as a small group, we are going to discuss. How is this information about soul wisdom going to help in our everyday lives? And how do we increase our relationship with Atma so that we can continue to stay in that state of connection with our Atma? So we request all of you to take active part in your small groups. When we come back, we are going to give our final prescription to not just Shivani, but to many of us, I will include myself, who suffer from overthinking itis. So here we go. Please enjoy your small group discussion.
I think all the breakout rooms are closed now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything is closed.
Sairam, let's go through a few of the summaries. Brother Samarth, can we start with you?
Sairam, sure.
Sairam.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it was very interesting and very, very useful for me, I should say. I learned a lot. And seems like in this group, it was more about the other side, not like being aware of what is a problem, but trying to solve that problem. So for the first one, like that of people, somebody said like Vahini had helped them in the study circle. So
Mm.
he has been reading Vahini, and with that, he's able to actually, get the truth of the soul and understand like what is going on, what is not, and also realizing that Atma is in everyone, the soul is in everyone. So she said like the jealous or problems with your colleagues or family, when you think that ways, then you say like, you know what, she or he is the same as I. So that's a very strong thought process. And also like what is permanent and impermanent in terms of when we have, some thought process that says we are confused or we are jealous. So thinking like what is permanent and impermanent might help us, right? It's a great way of, thinking just to like quantify what is right, what is wrong, and not think more about it. And also, they say like we could resonate with the problem more when we think like that, and then try to find a solution than getting just crying about the problem itself with all this, and be open to receive. And the one other thing was like trying to give a wrong identity to a negative emotion and sticking to it. So that is these are like nice statements for the first one, and more aware of Atma and don't negate things. And the last one was Baba is always watching you, Swami is always watching you. Then when Swami is watching you, why do you have to worry, right? Such simple and nice. I learned a lot.
Simple.
I'm getting goosebumps, really. I think I was really blessed to be part of that one. And on the second one, it was, I'll make it quick. Somebody mentioned he gets up early. One uncle mentioned he gets up early. He tried to get up at like 6:30 or maybe try earlier, and he gets 3 hours. And in small increments, they're trying to do, let's say, japa or Gayatri mantra or Sai Gayatri. And they also mentioned that, you, they're seeing a move from mechanical to conscious, mechanical to conscious. I think that is more awareness and trying to solve a problem. You start mechanically maybe, but you become conscious. And also somebody, one sister mentioned that going slow is also the mantra. When you go slow, she was trying to do yoga, and she said like incorrect postures, but when she said like I tried it slowly, I was able to do it, and that actually leads to like internal shifts within yourself. And that's what we're looking for. And the last one was, somebody asked, and I'm glad Uncle was there as well. And she said, like, is intuition the voice of Atma? So in again, that's a powerful thing, right? When the mind is, silent in the morning. So that could be part of that and how we can contemplate on that one. So yeah, I'm very excited. I think I'm going to have a lot of dreams tonight about this. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, thank you for sharing that, brother. Can we go to next room 2? Sister Preeti, you want to share something? Just a summary for this.
I hope you all can hear me. I'll be quick.
Yes.
I'll summarize all the 2 questions together. So I spoke, I was the one who spoke first. So I told that we have to include spiritual sadhana every day in our life. So I know we all have so many excuses. We are so busy. We all are having this, running race. So, but I think we have to start at least. So it can be taking small steps. So whatever it's there, I'm just, speaking up because I think I was there for the whole session.
Sure.
Then we have to take small steps every day. It's not that now we are aware and we can just go to Mount Everest. So every we have to be very slow and take small steps every day and engaging in spiritual sadhana. Like I told that whoever resonates with what they like. So some people resonate with bhajan, some people resonate with hearing to motivational talks or discourses from our Swami. And there are so many YouTube videos also, right? Like we have so many Sai speakers there speaking out on different topics. So I think we can check on that. And and seeking the accountability and the right community, the right good association, because sometimes what happens, we really want to do, but we don't get that accountability team or that community where everybody is doing and we feel that no, I should do it. So that is very important. Having like-minded community, I think that is the key. So what I felt, and introspect your inner emotions and thoughts without any bias. This was told by one of the brothers. So whether it's a good thought or bad thought, we have to, introspect it very deeply. So we should not think this is a good thought or bad thought. I think that will give us the attention. That is what he spoke about. And diverting the thoughts. So in case we are getting some negative thoughts, we have to try to divert it, and we have to react and not respond. So yes, and sit in silence, do more introspection, do more namasmarana, and it's not easy to start off with practicing, but I think small steps is needed. Yes, that is all I want to summarize on a whole, combining all the 2 questions.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Rajat, you want to go next?
For sure. So for the first question, I was in Sai Prasanandi's group. So the first question we had about soul wisdom, we had, listening to your consciousness and, just trusting your self-confidence. And then I narrated one of my experiences where, like when I was touring like last year, I had this experience where I had to climb some very steep and thin stairs and reach like the topmost part of like some castle. And I was so scared. But then what I did was just focus on one step at a time, not thinking about the fear. And then suddenly at like one point I reached like the top, and then I looked, and I had these amazing blissful views from top. But then the learning that I took was just like focus one step at a time. So probably that's what like soul wisdom is, like coming back and going back inside. So there were like other discussion points saying that when someone criticizes you, don't listen to your like conscience, and if you did anything wrong, just apologize, and then just take a step back and think of positive. So there's like a beautiful, like how uncle always leaves these like amazing things, like focus on the Kit Kats. So one of our brothers said that
that was the topic in our group also.
Yeah, look at the positive things, because every rose has a thorn, but that doesn't mean that you throw away the rose, because rose is such a beautiful flower. So focus on the Kit Kat, focus on the rose, and then that'll help you come back to your basics. So that was for question 1. For question 2, how do you increase your relationship with Atma? For me personally, I still think Atma is Swami. It's like ocean and a drop of water in that same ocean. So for me, like the things that I'm doing to reconnect or re-energize my connection with my Atma is basically, I love bhajans a lot. So after bhajans in Chicago Metro, we have like a meditation room upstairs where, there's Swami's pictures with a lot of vibhuti. So after bhajans, I go there and I sit because it's like, after my bhajan, Swami called me for an interview kind of stuff. So it's just like things going on in my head. So I think it just like helps me a lot. And, I like talk to him and there's literally nobody in the room. So it just feels very intimate. And I think that's how I like start. And that's my like focus on one step at a time. So I don't know where this will go ahead, but that was that. And then some other people in the group shared about chanting and understanding the name and visualize God, and realizing our truest nature, analyzing and looking forward. Sai Prasananti brought a very good point saying that we breathe every day, but then like just focusing on our breath can, take us back and connect to our Atma. And then that could be like a step where, have constant integrated awareness. And there was like one auntie that shared about meditation, service, constant integrated awareness, be good, do good, see good. And, that's how they formed like connection with Swami. So that was that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Sister Manohari, you want to share?
Yeah. We have a fantastic discussion, and so far also it's great. In our group, it's like for the soul wisdom, people said like I'll use this empty space and make sure neither positive nor negative can touch me, and then the Atma is indestructible and I'm not impacted by anything. And one more person shared on soul wisdom, how will you use that is like getting over fears. So that helps. Now there are several fears. Now understanding the soul wisdom is an answer to get out of these fears. And then the other one is like everyone is in the path of this journey, on this journey. So it's depending on their own awareness or their own connection. People will be behaving in different way, or animals in different. Every insect, every object, everything is in the path of its own journey to reach its own goal, the ultimate Swami. So that's one thing. And for meditation helps in experiencing that blankness and experiencing that joy. Maybe that's the relationship with Atma, and also it's giving them answers. So meditation is a one-way relationship with Atma. And also it's like Soham. I mean, Brother Rajit also was saying, one of their members. And also like nature walk, sending love, and it's helping in expansion, connecting to the nature and one among the nature, experiencing that oneness. And relationship with Atma, it's also like love yourself, give some love to yourself. So giving that thing also is helping. And then, yeah, another thing is like living with Swami, breathing Swami, everything Swami. That's one relationship with Atma. And I think one amidst is like with the soul wisdom, it's like also letting go of ego and, surrendering. This is all one good ways to have this soul wisdom thing. That's all. Thank you, Saira.
At the end, I would share what happened in my group also. There were 11 participants and everybody was gracious enough to share their insight. It was lovely to hear from them. It had all kind of answers. It was like we had both the questions together, kind of. It was a mixed thing. But they said when they find themselves in difficult situation, they try to look inwards and see what Swami has told about it, how they can and they understand that that situation has been brought to them for a reason. Like Swami has sent those particular people in their lives to teach a particular lesson. So they take the learnings from there and try to see what they can change to help the situation and understand that better. There were tips about praying early in the morning, about just calling Swami to be with them, seeking answers in books, and again, chanting, meditation, and all these points did come up. So thank you so much again, all of you, for sharing that. Sister Shivani, is there something you want to share? Your experience?
Yeah, sure. I would like to share my experience. So we were talking of a prayer, like Ho'oponopono prayer, where Uncle said like what we have to think in that prayer is, for example, we had an episode like we mentioned in a skit, and again that is coming back on us. So what we have to do in such prayer, we have to sit silently, and then we have to visualize Swami, and then we have to see like Swami is coming in my heart. Now he sat in the altar of my heart. So it's not me, it's not Shivani, it's now Baba. So that Atma, you know. So then, because now I'm Swami now, so whatever episode has happened with anyone, so we think, okay, let it go. And how what we have to do is we have to think of like four things. Just close your eyes, and then we have to say to that person, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, and I love you. And initially, this was told to me by Sister Advaita. She told you start, and I was like, oh, really? Okay. What will happen? I said, what will happen? Okay, if you are saying because we have to do a presentation, okay, let's try what the result will be. So I just did it, but yeah, my intention was pure that, okay, I have to do as Uncle has told, just so I started doing it. And believe me, in 2 days, there was change in my thinking. The same thoughts that was, like coming and, like I was reacting. So the reaction that stopped, and I'm like, oh my God, I just started like this prayer that I didn't know it will work just in 2 days, and I'm practicing it from last around 12 to 13 days, but I'm really feeling very, very content and very calm. So this prayer really works, and it worked for me.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Sister Anusha, we'll go back to your class. Please go ahead and share your experience about
Sairam
it.
class, you all have
Sairam.
amazing, amazing students today. And we are nearing the end of our Know Thyself 101. We'll have extended courses from next month. We'll have additional course requirements provided all of you do your homework. But we do want to re-emphasize that at the beginning of the session, we said all of us were characters in this. But Shivani's experience was real, and that's why we called on her in order to share. So everything that we said as treatment today, Shivani has already been practicing for the last 2 weeks. So what she shared just now was her own real experience of how she felt. So that is why we felt it was valid to share these with all of you. And hopefully it helps every one of you in any situation that you are. Do we have few minutes for Uncle to share his final words, and then we can go on to our prescription for today, aka homework. So, Suresh Uncle, would you like to share your final words of wisdom for
Yeah,
us?
I know. Very nice and very inspiring to listen to all the comments. And I went to each of the workshops and listened to them also. So take-home message is very simple. Every time you have a problem, imagine you are in an examination hall. Suppose you're in an examination hall and the examiner gave you the question paper, you wouldn't say, oh, problem, oh my God. But the purpose of sitting in the examination hall is to receive the problem. How can you then beat the hall? Oh God, why am I like this? Why do I need this paper? Oh, what is the necessity? And then keep on lamenting in silence. That is not correct, because every problem that comes to you, imagine you are in an examination hall. Now, the trick of the game is that to find the right answers to write down. From where do you get the answers? From your experiences of your spiritual knowledge, from your tapas, from your sadhana. You need to summon that wisdom to write on the paper. Once you write the paper, you pass that exam and you go on. If you keep on lamenting and sitting, you will continue to sit in the same examination hall. Age will continue to progress. You will keep on thinking of the problem, but you have not sorted the problem. And you go to the temple, Gurudwara, mosque, and church, and keep on asking God, why? But unless we have the courage to face the problem, address the issue, we cannot move on. That is why when we started this, we said acceptance. So every problem has a solution. We need to summon and discover that solution inside. So The whole idea is, that's why Swami said, most important, the Krishna's first quality is fearlessness. So for everything, we must have fearlessness, and it comes from the bubbling confidence that Bhagavan is with us. So all the time connect to Swami. Connect, Swami, this is a problem. Your question is, Bhagavan, what do you want me to learn from this problem? I know you want me to learn from this problem. What should I learn from this problem? What is the version I should create in order to address this problem? What consciousness should I develop in order to address the problem? Not shift the problem, increase the muscle, Swami, so that I can address the problem. This is how a spiritual prayer should be. Once we address this problem, the problem will immediately diffuse and go away, and we move on. Why? Because we got higher wisdom. What is the wisdom? Soul wisdom. So soul wisdom gives us a larger context of things so that we can move on in our life. So this is how we should do this. And but what Shivani said about that experience of that meditation is that in fact, we don't have time, otherwise we would have done it. But maybe next time we will do that. But whenever you sit in the meditation hall, one good technique will be, imagine Swami sitting in front of the chair, right? You have a meditation, Swami's chair will be there. So like imagine Swami sitting in the chair, and you close your eyes. Then imagine Swami sitting there, or Swami smiling with you. And then just imagine Swami getting up and then walking towards you and sitting in your heart. Now Swami sitting in your heart is quite different, then you cannot have fear, you'll have love, imagine him looking through you to the world outside. Just feel that oneness, feel that kindness, feel that compassion, feel that thing. And then even the same problem you had, just look at it from Bhagwan's eyes. Once you do this, you and I and Swami becomes one and the same. Then I do the Honopono prayer, which is I am sorry, please forgive me, I love you and thank you. Keep on saying that from his perspective. Then you will genuinely feel that oneness. And once you have the connectivity to that oneness, you are basically increasing your consciousness and resolving your problem. This is how to do it. That's what Shivani explained just now. So hopefully, if you can try next time when you come back next month, we shall start the session with that meditation session. At least then that will be very good, powerful anchorage, and then we move on like that. Yeah. Thank you, Saira.
So this is our homework for the next 4 weeks. Next slide, please, Adita. We are giving you the prescription for your daily living. Practice asking, who am I? And this is mainly to identify the transient nature of our thoughts, as we discussed. Apply the Atmic inquiry, the real AI, to realize your true nature. Be constantly aware of that Atmic existence. And what best way to do it? Practice stillness, experience that awareness, and of course, Ho'oponopono prayer that Uncle just said. This prayer, I will say from my own personal experience that it has saved me many times, saved me from many mental agonies. It is not just for asking forgiveness, you can also give forgiveness to people. It is for guilts, it is for grudges, it is for conflict resolution. It is basically for everything and anything that is beyond our control. This is a very powerful prayer. So next time, as Uncle said, we will hopefully lead a session with it so we can, everybody can get to experience it. With that, we hope you practice this for the next 4 weeks. And we just dropped a bunch of links in the chat to stay in touch. If you're joining us for the first time, please check out our past episodes, summaries, podcast links. Next episode is going to be March 2nd, Sunday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. We will come with a new episode in a new format. Thank you all for joining. We'll thank the divine brought all of us here today, the divine that always leads our way every single day, every single minute. Let's continue to stay in touch with that divine so that we can all be better humans every day. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you
Sai
all.
Ram. Thank you. Sai Ram. Have a nice day.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.